Welcome back, dear viewers, to round 5 of this little demonstration game of 18OL. Player 1 is blue. The CME starts with a trains action, and the MHE buys this for train for everything, so that's 960 in there. And 0 here. Oh, just let's for reasons of style, let's 5 in the MHE. And the CME buys a 7+ train, thus triggering phase 7 of this game. So now 4 trains go away. This 4 train ages. It means it will operate only once more. And that was the trains action of the blue player. The second player, yellow, has only one slight problem, that's the CV, which has no train, but that's really only a slight problem. But I think the time for the stock market action is now. He buys a 10% share from the stock market, so that's 86 left. And he then merges the CV into the DHB, I think. Yes, into the DHB. So he is now 65. He is now 30. That money is gone. DHB replaces that with a marker, with a token, and he gets a DHB share from the bank. So now the green player does a build action. And he upgrades this with the GUE. And that with a JWO. And he lays a token here for 100. And that's the build action of the green player. Red. Will red be able to get 610 in time? Yeah, red does a build action. And he builds this one. The OKB. And with the JCE, and that's the build action of the red player. The first player does a stock market action and buys a CME share. There's only 5 thaler left. Then the second player, so he pimps that up. Like this. In the OWB, so he replaces that. The build action for the OWB, and that's the build action. That's a build action of the yellow player. Then the green player. So the green player does a build action. Oops. And builds this. That was the build of the JWO, and the GOE builds now. Oh, he replaces that one. It's red's turn now, and red decides to do a stock market action. And he sells the DHB for 200. There's now 270. The share price doesn't change because we are already in phase 7. And he buys 3 shares of the JCE. That's 180. Then he has 90 left, and for that he can't buy really a share. The only one he could buy would be the MHE, but Blue obviously plans to liquidate that corporation. That would not be a good investment. So he pays 180, had 90 left. And that's a stock market action. The blue player does also stock market action because he wants to sell down the MHE shares. They would be confiscated during liquidation anyway, so better sell them now. market action and sells 3 of the 5 MHE shares. That's 270, 275 now for him. But he was a director, so the share price does go down by 3 steps. And he buys some neat, solid double shares. The DHB double share springs to mind with 200. And he also buys a JCE share, a single one. So that's then 260. 15 left. Player 2 does a revenue action. And with the OWB, here's a 5 train. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not bad. I think he does that. So that's 8, 16, no, start here, 4, 12, 20, 23, 26, and 32. 32. We paste that out. It gives him 160, so he has 246. The DHB starts in Osnabrück and goes via Wardenburg and what's that? Hude to Oldenburg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 9, 11, 15, 18, 21, 31. And he pays that out. That's 6 times 31 is 186. And that's 432. Also, there are other shareholders for the OWB, of the OWB and of the DHB. Let's start with the OWB again. That's 32. There's here a double shareholder. That's 64 for him, 154. And a DHB double shareholder here, the blue player, and he gets 62. So he has now 77. And the share prices of the DHB and the OWB go up by 2 columns. And that was the revenue action of the yellow player. The green player does also a revenue action. So the JWO has a 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 6, 14, 24, 27, 30, 42, 44, 47. and he pays that out. That's 47 times 6. That's 240, 282, 328, 328. And the JWO goes up 2 spots, 2 columns, and there are other shareholders. There is this one who gets 47, that's 479. And here 3 shares of the JWO, 47 times 3, that's 141. 141. 141, that's 218. 218. That's the JWO. Then the GUE. Another shareholder of the GUE? No. So the GUE has also 6, and his options are similar, but not. I can go there. 7, 9, 12. That's 3, 12, 22, 28. And 9 is 37 even. 37 is the result. And he has 7 shares, so he gets 210 and 49. That's 259. 259. 259. That's 517 or 587. 587. And that's a double jump upwards. And are there shareholders? No, there are no other shareholders. So that's the revenue action of player 3, the green one. Player 4 does also a revenue action. And with the JCE, he goes his last hooray. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4.5. So that's 8, 11, 19, 22, 25, and 9, 34. And he swallows it, so that's 630 here. And the OKB, and the share price goes down. And the OKB, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6. 6 and 8 is 14, 19, 20, 23, 28, and 4 for the coastal bonus is 32. And he swallows that, so he has now 385. The OKB share price goes down too. The blue player has to do a revenue action now. He starts with the MHE. The MHE has no train, so the share price goes down. And then he's train checked and has no train, so he goes down again. Then he has to buy a train with money. Is there anyone who sells him a 7 plus for 5? Or any train for 5. Oh, the 4 train, by the way, is if the JCE is out. So back to player blue and his problems. The MHE can't buy a train because nobody offers one for 5 thaler. So he has to buy, the MHE has to buy the 7+ train from the bank for 900 thaler. That's not enough money. So the first step is that the blue player must sacrifice all his cash. That's 218. So there are now 223 in it. 223. And the player has exactly 0. That's still not enough. There's 677 missing. So the player is asked to sell shares, but not to sell shares of the MHE. But that is voluntary, and the blue player doesn't want to sell these shares. So the MHE is not able to buy a train. The MHE is then liquidated. So that's liquidated means it's taken out of the game without any compensation for shareholders. So that money is lost. Tokens are removed from the board and from the share price table. That is gone. And that is gone. In theory, players could reopen that, but not the blue player. And to remind him of that, here is a token. That means he is not allowed to buy the director certificate again. If anyone else buys it, then he may buy freely MHE shares, including the director certificate, if that becomes available after a second liquidation. But that won't happen, and it is even questionable if anyone wants to reopen the MHE because of its bad network. That's then the second corporation acts, that's the CME. Now we operate the 7+ train of the CME. That's more fun. Starting here, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 29, 29, 31, 33, 34, 37, 38, 46. 46, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 large 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 large stations. That's okay. 46 it is, and he pays that out. 46 times 6 is 240 and 276. And the share price of the CME goes up. That was player 1, the blue player, and now player 2, the yellow player, who can now do what he wants to do. That is another stock market action. And he buys shares of this JCE. There are 3. They are now yellow, so that's practically free. Oh, let's wait. He could also buy, no, that's You could also buy a CME double share. That's also very okay. That's 320. And 2 JCEs, that's 320 and 100, 420. So he has 59 left. Player 3 also does a stock market action. And buys 2 JCEs. And here, how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He has one spot free, so he takes the OKB double share. And that's together 100 for the JCEs and 180 for the OKB double share certificate, so that's 280. So he has 307 left. 307 left. And player 4. Player 4 has a slight problem. He would like the 7 plus in the JCE. So he must do 2 trains actions now and next round. Yeah, well, it cannot be helped. So he does a trains action. And the JCE pays 615 for the 5 train. So there's 15 left. And he has now 1000, and I don't switch that. Imagine that there's 1000, and he buys a 7 plus, and that leaves him with 100, which is just enough for another token. That's the trains action with the red player. And the last action in the game, we give back the cubes, and this ends the round. And as usual, we start the next round already a little bit by progressing this token and determining the new playing order, which is this one. And the next round is the last round then.